Welcome back, my duelist friends. Casual Duelist here yet again, and it's time for the third part of the building your collection how-to mini-series part. So today's topic is going to be trading. So you guys think that there's nothing easier than going, hey, look, there's this card I want. Here's some cards I have. Can we make a deal? You would think that there would be nothing easier than this. In fact, this can be one of the most frustrating and time-consuming portions of your entire dueling career. That said, let's try and see if we can't simplify this topic for you guys today. So, real quick, there was an old system that was immediately fouled out. When we started playing back in '02, a lot of people wanted to go, okay, well, the card I'm looking for is, let's say, super rare or ultra rare. They wanted to use a progressive system to count rarities towards it. So in this system, the card of the higher tier is worth at least 2 of the previous tiers. So a secret rare is worth 2 ultra, or at least 2 ultras, which is worth at least 2 supers, which is worth at least 2 regulars. And then, of course, like I said, minimum of 2 of the previous level. One of the reasons this quickly fouled out was because Raigeki was just so darn good, and nobody wanted to trade an Exodia piece for a huge stack of commons. So what we try to go by, and especially back then, there were a couple of different ways of pricing back then. It wasn't super saturated on eBay or Amazon yet. Instead, what we seemed to get were these unofficial price guides, if you would. And I want to say Beckett and Pojo maybe had some back then. And these would be crazy cool. They would have some articles in them. But towards the back of the books, you would have a pricing index for cards based on the sets, first edition, not first edition, and of course a range based on your condition. Later on, we would start to use eBay confirmed sales to get a good measure of what the card's worth. Other websites would show up, like Shuffle and Cut was popular there for a little while. Right now, the best resource I feel is using tcgplayer.com because they actually sample from Amazon. They sample from eBay. They sample from what they've actually got. So that you'll have a market value, a listed value, like a range. What's the average? And this, I think, is probably the most fair way to do it. So let's just say, for the sake of instance, we're done with that portion of this topic. Let's talk about what you guys need to do. So I think it was 2 videos ago, I suggested a whole bunch of stuff that you guys should get in order to start playing. Sleeves, deck box, backpack, play mat, all of the things. One of the things I said you could initially skip was a trading binder. Now, what I was trying to talk about that first day was the 9-card Ultra Pros. So it's got the page sleeves already. Personally, these are my favorite. But again, maybe you don't have a big collection. Maybe there's not a lot of cards you're willing to trade. So again, this is a bit old. I think you guys can see this is well loved. This is an Ultra Pro little collector binder. And this one's just the 4-page pockets, or the 4 pockets per page. And again, these are a real treat to go through. There is an art to setting up your trade binder. Generally, you want to put like cards or similar cards together. So this first page isn't terrible. We've got the ABC Dragon Buster. We've got B and C. But for some reason, A is on the back side over here. And that really shouldn't be a thing. So again, if this was your binder, it's, in this case, as simple as turning the 2 cards around. I really need to replace this thing. That is gross. I'm so sorry, guys. But this would be an appropriate first page if I was not going to play these cards, which I'm not. I already have my own playsets. This is just a binder I was able to pick up pre me doing the loot reports. So kind of cool. And then, of course, we should have the Lumina and the March of the Dark Brigade. Those should be a little closer. Maybe the gadgets should be closer to the limiter removal. There's a real art to setting this up. Now, One of the things I like about a trade binder is just how simply you guys can see. I'm just able to just go through this. We're able to just take a quick look. We can see most of the condition. One of the downfalls is when you have multiple cards in the same pocket. I don't just mean the front and the back. I mean, like, there we go. There's a play set of Jack Frosts. Now, if I'm going through your book and you have them stacked, it shouldn't be up to me to decide whether or not there's multiple copies of a card inside of a page. So I try to stick away from doing this. It eliminates a lot of confusion. Another thing I like to do is I don't like to leave empty pages. So before I go to tournaments with the intent to trade, I do make sure to spread them all out. Another thing that gets lost in translation here very easily, and especially when you're starting out, everybody tends to throw every card that they have into the trade binder that doesn't immediately meet some requirement for them to play something. And so you'll have something like this where there's a little deck core. We'll talk about that in a second. But then you'll start just seeing common cards like this Return of the Dragons. It's not really necessary to be in here. Same thing with the Eradicator Epidemic or the Curry Bandit. Armageddon Knight, Pet in the Dark Clown. A lot of very random things are happening in this book too. And this is actually one of my trade binders. This was like the low value stuff. And I did just try to put like tech cards in here. Things that you might see people wanting. Like there's Twin Twisters. There's Rescue Rabbits. Genix Ally Birdman. Some people still look for Swap Frogs. Parallel Exceed extra copies. It's just a good way of setting everything up so that, again, I don't want to waste somebody's time. I don't want them to go like, oh, this is actually a great trade binder. This is pretty lackluster if we're being totally honest with each other. But again, the level of the commons I have in here is a slightly better than average. So let's just go ahead and take that back off screen real quick. So how do we want to trade? Well, one of the things you want to do is you want to figure out what it is that you guys are actually after. So like, let's say I'm trading for this Harpy's Feather Duster. This is not worth that much right now. This is especially one of the ones out of the Egyptian God structure decks. These ones are not worth as much, but they are just as playable. They're just as plentiful right now. If you guys buy the structure deck, you're given one. If you guys buy 3 of a structure deck, you have a play set. If you guys bought 3 of both structure decks, you have 2 play sets. So again, like I'm a play set player. The first set goes into my white long box. The second set is going to find itself a home in one of these binders. And I will probably put this in the higher end value one, even though this is only probably like a $2 or $3 card right now. And the reason for that is it's still fairly sought after. And due to that, again, I'm going to try to put the best things into the better binder. I don't mind seeing 2 binders when I go out to trade. But again, you don't want to carry your entire inventory everywhere you go because, quick spoiler, that would be a lot of stuff for me to carry. So, and again, not all of that was Yu-Gi-Oh, but whatever. So yeah. You got to know what the value of the card is that you're after. Plus, you're going to need to know the values of the cards that you have to offer. One of the things, again, just pull up TCG Player. You guys can do card references and just make a nice little list. I'm going to talk about some etiquette stuff now because I think etiquette's a big deal. And one of the things I hate seeing, let's make that disappear, is tins. You guys have all been to the card shop. You've all said, hey, can I look through your trade stuff? And somebody has given you this tin. It's got dirt. It's all pounded in. You can hear that nothing in there is sleeved. Immediately looking in, you can see the browning of the cards. They've been through something, whether it's age or moisture or what have you. And again, like 90% of the tins out there, it's going to be full of cards that are just basic commons, things that are reprinted, a lot of stuff that's really going to be a waste of most people's time. Why do we still look through these tins? It's very simple, guys. We're hoping that we find that one card that shouldn't be in there, and we're hoping to go ahead and give it a better home than just a little metal box. And so I just like seeing these. Again, there's no real way to like separate your cards. You basically make one line. And again, if this is in your backpack, you're going to get these bends. You're going to get these warps. The cards are just going to be shaking around. That was probably really loud. I apologize for that. But it's going to beat up all the corners. And I think we all know that one card. We've all seen that player who's got them. It's almost a whole tin. They may be okay cards. I don't know. But like the edges are all chewed up. It looks like they went through the washer. They went through the dryer. You got the slight bends in the cards. And sometimes that'll be a card that you might have been interested in had it been in better condition. So again, I'm not saying you need to sleeve everything in your binder. It definitely makes you look more professional. I'm definitely willing to give you closer to the value. But as long as it's in a binder, if the binder itself is a little worn, I don't always mind. But like I said, this one has been well loved. It has survived like 12 years, and that's pretty fantastic. But when you're looking through something like this is way easier. You can see the edges. Again, you might not be able to tell how many are quite in there. Like you might not know that that's 3 Jack Frosts at first. Again, if somebody shook the binder a little bit, maybe that only looks like 2 right now. You can still sort of see the third edge. But again, this is still, this could be better if they were all sleeved and individually placed and spread out. It makes a better appearance. Another thing for etiquette, and this is a big turnoff for me, is again, you're going through somebody's binder, you're looking through them, you're going, okay, well, I like that. I would love to have a foil creature swamp, you know. I'm looking for an extra obelisk or, Shadal Grista, or, I bought the Shadal structure decks and I'd love to have that art or that foil, whatever have it be. Maybe I don't have this Utopia Prime, whatever. The thing that gets me is you'll have people that they'll just be like, look, okay, I want one of these. I want this. And they'll just pull out a stack. And what happens with that stack if you say no? That's right, guys. They leave it on the table. So you just have, they're like, oh, well, I wanted this. But all you had was this. And these are like 25 cents. So, yeah, that's not going to be a deal. And then they'll just pick their card up and then they just leave it. And that's going to leave you to put the cards back. So if that's me, and I have to put my cards back, I'm probably not trading with you the next time, regardless of what you have. I don't want to be bothered with putting things back. So, make mental notes. Let the person know, hey, here's what I'm interested in. Another thing that gets me, and again, I set this up previous. You get some people, they will start to trade for something, or they will leave a deck core in there, or what have you. And again, like here's like a very budgeted start to a Light Sworn build. And it's not bad. It's not bad at all. It's actually really cool. But I hate it when it's in your trade binder and you say it's in your trade binder and you don't tell me anything about it. And you go, oh, yeah, those aren't for trade. Well, why'd you put them in the binder, bud? Or, like, whatever, name any card here. I want that. I'm building that deck and I just need the one more, but I left them in there so I would know. Again, this brings back to the app that I use, and I showed you guys in the last video with the managing your collection. You can make a digital wish list. There are apps to do that. Why wouldn't you take advantage of technology? It'll make your life a lot easier. And again, if you can set up your book to be a little bit better, and again, mine is a terrible example right now, but this is kind of by design. This is a great way to show people, like, this is not what you want to do. You don't want to have, 3 of them stacked up when you can have them spread out to show off that, okay, there are 3 copies there. Like the Toon Table. There's 2 of them in there. They should be split up. It lets people know, okay, I want one. Or again, with those, what are those called? The Legendary Duelist remixes or whatever. They have the foil names, but the names are in different colors of foil. Well, I've only seen this like once, but somebody was very specific. They were like, I'll only trade for the blue ones. I just want the blue names. Okay, fair. That's fine. I get it. And again, that could be split up better because of that. So it just comes down to like organization, really. And you got to respect the other players. There's one other thing that really gets me. And what it is you'll get somebody who will, they treat this as a job because this is their side hustle. They like to buy and sell cards, and it makes a whole lot of sense. And I hope that you guys don't mind. I'm just aimlessly flipping now. But they will look through your binder, and we're just going to make up some values today because I'm not smart enough to have thought that through beforehand. You know what? Let's use the smaller binder so the whole thing is on screen. I just keep attacking that camera. So, like, let's say somebody's looking to build the core. They have most everything. They're missing, like, one of each of these. Let's say they're $3 a piece. Somebody will come at you and go like, look, I like these, but what are you looking for? And they will ask you to basically, you set the values so that they can decide whether or not you know the values or if they're getting ready to take advantage of you. And I've seen this plenty. And they'll be like, well, I'll give you the one feather duster. And again, let's just pretend this is $1 right now because maybe it is. And they'll be like, I'll give you the one feather duster for one copy each of those. And those will each be a $3 card. So they're going to make a plus $8 on you. I'm not a huge fan of anybody who does this. And I've had multiple times where somebody would look at me and they'd be like, yeah, well, I like that you've got the original printing. And I was like, well, it's my only one, but I'll tell you what, you've got this other variant of it. Why don't you give me that since it's worth less and, give me the limiter removal because I'd love to have another foil. Yeah, I really can't do that. I can't even do that straight up one for one. And it's like a $15 difference or whatever. That would be like me saying, I see that you got the original Lightning Storm right there. And I know that's still like an $80, $90 card. I'd like to give you the $30 version. But I can't just give you just that. I need you to trade me more than just that $100 card in order to get this $30 version of it. And you guys got to be able to say no sometimes. You don't have to trade with everybody who looks at your binder. Anybody that you look in their binder, if you don't see something, like if I don't see anything in here I like, I don't have to make a trade. There's no reason that I would be like, yeah, let me look for like the least evil thing. Like, yeah, I'll take the Seal of Ori Calcos. Like, you don't have to do that. You don't have to rip yourself off. It's all about being informed. Honestly, one of my favorite things is actually just trading with my friends. For the most part, we tend to disregard value entirely. And we'll just give each other a card that it might be expensive, but like, I'm not going to play that deck, and my best friend's going to. So I'm going to make sure that, he gets that. And one of those cases is my friend. He was like, are you going to build Stardust? So he traded me some Stardust Dragons, a Stardust Spark. It just gave me some cool stuff to go ahead and start working on the build for you guys. And he did it on basically nothing. He basically just handed me these cards and said, like, look, those are yours. I'm not going to run it. You run it. And then when you get another deck I like and you profile it and maybe you don't want to put it in your collection, I'll just take that. And again, like, trading with friends is very rewarding. But outside of that, like, the etiquette is really like, know your values. Don't be afraid to look up the values while you're in the middle of a trade. If they get offended by that, that means that they're trying to do something to you. They're trying to take advantage and get more value from you than you're going to get from them. Never rip yourself off, guys. And don't be the guy that shows up with a tin of beat up cards and pulls stuff out of people's binders and then doesn't put it back. Just ask first. But that's about it. I want to get back to making some decks again. This would be 3 days in a row of me doing the how-to series stuff. And while I enjoy it, I do have some deck projects I would love you guys to check out. And so we're going to start that up again, and I should have something for you guys Saturday. So just one thing real quick. I hope that you guys have a great day. You guys have a good one, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Later.